Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. It's your boy Drew, and we got another big update surrounding college football 25 coming out here in July. Now, as many of you know, we've recently got a reveal trailer about the game, but we haven't heard much about the game since that reveal trailer. But today we got a whole bunch of news from Matt Brown and some great people around the league, but we're going to be talking about some big things that have been covered about this game so far. Some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is from the Cover 3 podcast and the On 3 podcast, so if you guys know them or don't watch them, I would highly suggest watching them as they release a lot of great stuff. There was also an article released by Matt Brown that gave us some information, but he said that plan on seeing some more stuff come out tomorrow, that he can give us a full release and free release as well. But before we get started into this video, I want to tell you guys about a new series on the channel that I'm going to be starting surrounding this game. If you don't know already, it is called Subscriber Dynasty. So what Subscriber Dynasty is going to be is it's going to be you, my subscribers, and my viewers are going to be put in the game as a new team that we're going to use on Team Builder. So if you want to join, it's super easy. All you have to do is comment below what your name is, your player type, what position you want to be, his looks, and all that good stuff that you want me to know about your player. Now, if you for sure want to get to be in season number 1, all you have to do is join as a channel member, tier 1 level, if you want to for sure be in the game. But if you don't mind having a chance to be in it and going on a wheel spin, just drop that down in the comments below and you could possibly be in season 1 or the seasons to come. But without further ado, man, let's go ahead and jump right in this stuff and make sure that you guys like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. First thing that we're going to talk about today is just the big question that everybody's been talking about. Is this game going to be a Madden reskin? And I'm not gonna lie, after seeing the trailer, I was really impressed with it, but I did see some things that reminded me about Madden, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little skeptical. But after listening to some of these guys that got to play the game and go to the event, it is definitely not going to be a Madden reskin. So go ahead, drop a like, say something hype about that, as we are not going to be getting another Madden reskin. So some of the guys that were playing this game said that one of the biggest things that you'll notice about the game is the speed difference, which we already got kind of a little bit of background on that, but we weren't exactly sure what that was going to mean. Now, some of the people that were talking about this on their podcast said in Madden, you'll have like your guys like Justin Jefferson, or the top receivers like Jamar Chase, all those kind of guys who are elite level players in the NFL. But you have to realize in Madden, everybody that makes the NFL is an elite player. But in college football, not everybody's elite. So there's different skill levels. There's a different talent gap between players. So you're definitely going to notice some of those bridges and some of those gaps between players. For instance, one of the guys that got to play the game said that he was using Ohio State versus Toledo, and let's just say that Emeka Egbuka kind of dusted him on the first play. So you're definitely going to see that bridge and that gap between elite players to just average players. So that's definitely going to speed the college game up a lot. They also said that there was a lot of differences in the gameplays and the pre and post play cuts. So you'll have kind of just your generic Madden. Every play you'll see your coach's suggestions or just your kind of stuff like that. But in this game, you're going to see a lot of different cutscenes. Like you'll see the crowd chants, you'll see things on the sideline, or possibly even just big replays throughout that play. It's not just your generic kind of role of just play after play kind of stuff that you see in Madden. There's a lot of different stuff that you're going to see. And there's also this game, this is something I didn't know about either. This game has been in the works since COVID. So they have been doing this since 2020, but they've just recently, in the last year or two, told us that this game is coming out. So they have been working on this a long time. And with that being said, this is the first football game that is going to just be on next gen. So they don't have to worry about kind of doing different stuff on the current gen and next gen. It's just focusing on the next gen version. So you're going to have a lot of new stuff, a lot of new things that we're going to see in the game. And it's overall, from what I've been seeing and hearing, there's not been a single person that has had a bad thing to say about the game that they've actually played. So one of the other cool things that I got some insight on is some of the new stuff that they're adding. So one of the best things that was said about the game is their new 3D grass tech. Now, I know for some of you guys, you're like, who cares? It's just grass, it's just turf, whatever. But Good Game Bro, if you guys are familiar with him, said that was one of his most favorite things that he got to see about the game, was just the attention to detail, which is another big thing that we'll talk about here in a second. But one of the best takeaways that everybody's gotten about this game is just how much effort and how much time that the developers have been putting into this game. And one thing that we also learned too is like when the college football game stopped making it, there was a lot of developers who were in a way out of a job, and so they had to go do different things. So you saw some of those people go to 2K, EA, or any other type of game around that possibly could use some developers. So a lot of people have been saying like that people that went and did those jobs are now coming back together. So it's kind of like a reunion, like the gang's getting back together, and they're putting all their effort and time into doing this game right and making it the best possible game that they can. And a lot of the time this is going to be people who are absolute nerds and absolute just college football fanatics. So they're gonna nerd out on their college football, man, and they're gonna make it the best that they can. And one of the best takeaways or comments that I've heard is they made it to where they knew that every team that is being made, like, that's somebody's favorite team. So if whether you're a fan of Toledo, Ohio State, Kennesaw State, like whatever the team is, like they took the time to realize that, hey, this is somebody's favorite team, so we're not going to let them down. We're going to do it right. So they got, from what I've heard, a good majority, almost every license that they could to get every aspect of your team's franchise in this game. So you'll see certain fight songs, certain whiteouts or stripes in the stadiums, even the way that the band formations, like for Tennessee and Texas, like they'll do like a T in the center of the field for when your band comes out, and just like stuff like that people honestly won't take the time to realize that they put it in the game, but all those like true college fans are going to be like, no way that they put this in the game. So they took a lot of time. I mean, they've been doing this since 2020, so it's gonna be good. But if you are if you're a huge college football like fanatic, you're gonna notice the things that they put in the game. Like I was waving at the children's hospital, all that kind of stuff, just mascots coming on the field doing certain types of things. All that's in the game. I've heard some of the songs that they've put in the game have been confirmed. We'll hear more about that tomorrow, but overall, just expect a lot of detail. One of the best things too that some of the people that actually had a chance to play the game was saying that the run game was actually really intensive. So there's different types of runs that you can do. Obviously you can do more with a zone blocking or a man blocking scheme, so you're gonna have to be more strategic, and it just overall felt more realistic. It wasn't so much you could just do the same thing every time. Like you have to be kind of looking at what you're going to do at the next play every single time. So you have to be strategic, you have to game plan around what you're going to do, and it just gives you that true college experience. Another big change that we're going to be seeing is the way that you can use the option. Now, before you had the default to just hold X to hand it off to the running back, but this year it's different. So if you hold X or A, it is going to keep the ball with the quarterback. So now that is the default. So if you don't hit it, it's going to automatically hand it to the running back. But if you want to pull it as a QB, you have to hold X or A now. So that's going to give you more time to kind of dive into, okay, do I have time to get around this defensive lineman or this edge, or should I give it to the running back? So 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to give it to the running back. But if you can read the zone defense or the man defense right, you can definitely utilize the option to your benefit. Another new part of the game that's going to be coming out is a new kicking meter, which I'm kind of excited to see about, but I've also heard that it's pretty hard and kind of difficult. They didn't give us the details of what it looks like or how it works, but all they said is it's going to be hard to kick. Some of the guys that had a chance to play said that they missed like 3 field goals or extra points in a row, so it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it's going to make it more fun where you don't just have to skip and know that it's going to be a knockdown every time. So that's something nice to look forward to, because I know if you're like me, I'd be simming the kickoffs and the punts every single time. I just don't got time for that, but now you're definitely going to have to try and do that. So I know that we talked a lot about the gameplay and just some of the new features that are coming into the game, but I'm going to get to what you guys really want to know, the nitty and gritty of it all. Let's talk about the game modes. Let's talk about the Dynasty and the Road to Glory. Now, I'm just going to get the bad news out of the way. We will start with probably the biggest L, and I know I've seen a lot of comments about this. Road to Glory is unfortunately not going to be having any form of high school before you enter the college scene. Now, they did say that you can choose what kind of recruit you want to be. You can be a 1-star through a 5-star. You kind of get to choose your path on what you want to be. So if you want to take the more traditional route, maybe be one of the lower end college football players, you could do that. or you can be one of those top 5-star recruits that's going to have every single offer that you can imagine. Now, Road to Glory is going to be a lot more in depth. Even though you're not going to have some of the features that we want, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to consider. And one of the coolest things that we found out is you can actually become academically ineligible during your Road to Glory season. Now, you're going to have some kind of picture Road to Glory is kind of going to look like how your recruiting would look like in Dynasty. You're going to have skill points for your recruiting that you can use, but you're going to be able to use that for your players. So you're going to have to spend time on the field training. You're going to have to spend time reading the books or NIL deals. There's a lot of factors that go into being a college football athlete, especially with this new era and NIL deals. So you're going to have to figure out what amount of time that you want to spend in each of those categories. And it's honestly, that's the one thing that I've said earlier in the video. The attention to detail is going to be insane. Like, no matter whether you're playing Play Now, Dynasty, Road to Glory, you're going to have to consider things that are going to happen throughout the game or throughout your Dynasty or throughout whatever mode that you're playing. So you're going to have to be thinking 10 steps ahead. So when it comes to Road to Glory, yes, we are missing out on having that high school experience, but there is a lot of things that you are going to have fun with. Now, we didn't get a ton of stuff about Road to Glory, but there were a few things that they said, like I just mentioned, that we're going to have. So hopefully we'll get some more information on that tomorrow. Now let's get to the mode that you guys all want to know about. Let's talk about the Dynasty. So the biggest thing that we got is honestly kind of surrounding wear and tear system. So that is something new that they are going to be adding into the game, and it is going to be a huge factor for your Dynasty team. Now, you're not going to be able to kind of cheese your way to getting a victory or to breaking records like you would in Madden. So, for instance, Derrick Henry in Madden, you can run the ball every single time with him. It doesn't matter how many hits he takes. He's going to get back up and play like a video game. It doesn't matter if he gets hurt, he's still going to play through it and be Derrick Henry. But in NCAA football, that is not the case. So if you have a smaller running back or a wide receiver that takes a big lick, they're going to feel it. And you might have to consider taking them out or possibly risking them of a chance of getting an injury. So a lot of that stuff is going to be a big factor in the game, especially if you're a smaller school and you're doing a rebuild. If you're going up against like a team like Georgia or Alabama and you got some smaller 1-star recruits going up against 5-star recruits, it's going to be a battle, and you're going to have to put people in and out of the game. So that's something really cool that they've talked about today, and it's definitely something that you're going to have to pay a lot of attention to when you play. Another big thing is focusing on the maturity levels of your players. So they said that if you are a 5-star quarterback or a 5-star freshman quarterback, you're the number 1 recruit, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're just going to go out there and ball. So you're going to have to consider this could be your first time playing in a college football game. So imagine if you're Ohio State's 5-star recruit freshman quarterback and you go to Michigan to play, and it's your first game playing there. You're going to be nervous. Like, you're going to be rattled. You're not going to have the composure that a senior starting quarterback would have going into Michigan. So you're going to see things like possibly not knowing what the play art is, or getting your buttons taken away on the screen, or just possibly not even knowing what the play is. So it's going to be a lot of you have to memorize what buttons are what the play call is, and it's really going to kind of put you as the player out there, not necessarily just as a gamer behind the sticks. It's going to make you feel like you're actually in the game. So that's something that I thought is really cool, and honestly just something that kind of makes it feel more realistic. Now, when looking at other aspects of the Dynasty mode, there are a lot of things to take into consideration. So when you make a coach, there are different types of coaches that you can choose from. You can choose from being a technician, a recruiter, or just a motivator and a development type of coach. So there are different aspects that you can be as a coach, and honestly, you're not going to be a total package type of coach. So there are going to be some things that you're missing out on, or some areas that you might be weaker in. So you might be a good developmental coach, but you suck at recruiting. So it's going to be hard to pick which one you want to be, but there are definitely upsides to them, and there are definitely some downsides to them as well. Another big factor that you can do in Dynasty mode is you can edit all of the conferences. You can edit the future schedules. So that is going to be something that's extremely fun, especially if you're somebody that likes to use the team builder. So if you want to be in a specific conference, or maybe you want to look down the line 3 years down the road and see what your schedule is going to look like, you could do that as well. So that is definitely something cool, just having the custom ability to kind of make your dynasty the way that you want to do it. It's also going to be a lot harder, especially for those people that are doing team builders or just rebuilds, to take your team to win a national championship. Some people said that it could take even up to 7 to 10 seasons to finally get your team to be a contender with being a national champion, because you have to consider recruitments. Like, are they going to want to come to your team? So if you're not putting up good records or good statistics for your team, you're not going to have a lot of prospects that are going to want to come play for you. So you're going to lose people to NIL deals, transfer portals, and possibly just lose out on recruitments if you're not really making great headway in your dynasty. There's also a different level to recruiting as well, as you're going to see like certain players that come from certain areas are going to be good just from those states. So like maybe in the Midwest, you might have some really good defensive and offensive linemen, and maybe in the Floridas, you might have your best receivers or your best corner prospects come out of there. So they definitely did a lot of pipeline research, just kind of seeing like where the best prospects come from these states and just kind of how much that matters. So overall, there's a lot of stuff that is going to be in Dynasty that is going to be really focusing on like how much you want to pay attention to your dynasty. It's not just going to be something that you can just sim through and not pay attention to. You're really going to have to focus on what your players want, what you need as a coach, and all that kind of details that you can expect for a great dynasty season. Another great thing that we talked about earlier is just the speed level. There's not going to be X factors in the game, but they did say that there is going to be kind of abilities based on physicals and mental abilities. So, for instance, if you're in a dynasty with a senior quarterback, he might have a little bit more composure than a freshman 5-star quarterback would. And also, if you have a great physical player like Travis Hunter, for example, if he's going up against a lower school, he's definitely going to be a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and a lot faster. Kind of like how we talked about the 5-star versus 3-star recruits. You're going to be able to tell the difference. And overall, I honestly don't see anything that's wrong with this mode so far. Just hearing the updates that we got today gets me even more hyped and more excited, and I honestly cannot wait for it. But that's going to do it for today's video, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I am going to be doing kind of more of a deep dive for every single game mode. So we'll talk about gameplay, strictly videos. We'll talk about Dynasty, strictly Road to Glory. But I really just wanted to kind of get all this information that I figured out today out to you guys, so you guys aren't in the dark. I know that there's a lot of people posting videos and getting that content out there, so hopefully I could give you some information that maybe somebody didn't catch or you guys didn't know about. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all your guys' love and support. Make sure if you are interested in joining the subscriber dynasty that you comment down below your player name and all the information that you want me to know about them. And as always, it's Drew. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next College Football 25 update.